It's that time of the year when we start to think about the fall colors starting to change, and that does provide us an opportunity to head to the farm and see how food's made. We're going to find out all about that next right here on Travel Michigan. I'm Dave Lorenz along with Michelle Benash. And Michelle, where are we headed to?
We're headed over to the west side of the state, Kent County to be precise, and we're talking with Dave VanAntwerp, who's the coordinator of Kent Harvest Trails. And Dave, welcome to the show, and talk to us a little bit about, fall coming to Kent County.
Thank you, Michelle. Nice to be here. Kent County is the home of the Fruit Ridge area, which is a microclimate in Michigan that's really good for raising fruit crops. And so every fall, the farmers in the Fruit Ridge area, which is just north of Grand Rapids, the farmers in the Fruit Ridge area invite lots of city folks who don't normally get out to the farm to come out to the farm and sample locally grown foods and have a lot of fun with hay rides and so on.
Well, Dave, certain places in the state are really known for, a certain type of crop. Up in the Traverse City area, it's cherries. Down in the Grand Haven area, it's blueberries, and some other places of the state as well. And there in that Kent County, Grand Rapids area, you're primarily known for apples. Is that because of the actual kind of land mass, formation there, or because of how far you're off the lake, or what makes it such a great place for apples?
Well, they call it a microclimate, and it has to do with it's the perfect configuration of the soil types and the weather and the amount of precipitation and so on. It seems that there's two big crops in this area. We have a lot of crops. We have peaches and cherries too, but apples and pumpkins. Almost every farm has apples and pumpkins. Those are the two big ones.
Well, of course, isn't it a part of your mission during Kent Harvest Trails to explain things just like that to people who come to the farms and see where food comes from?
Correct. We'll get it's really fun. We'll get a couple of thousand people every weekend that come out to the farms, and they get a chance to see where their foods are grown, how their foods are grown, and then also it's a great time to bring the kids, ride on a pumpkin train, have a fresh apple cider donut with cinnamon and sugar on it, and pick up some fresh fruits and vegetables. It's just a really fun time to get out to the farms.
So the harvest trails the farms on the trail are already starting to be up and running and doing these activities, and it goes through about the end of October, beginning of November. So how many farms are on the trail, and how many different places can people kind of visit along the way?
There are 20 farms participating in Kent Harvest Trails. We have a lot more farms than that in the area, but 20 farms participate in Kent Harvest Trails. This was started by Michigan State University about 25 years ago, and these are farms that make an extra effort to explain where foods come from, show people how their foods are grown, and things like that. So that's what makes Kent Harvest Trails unique. Most have a farm market, and most have fruits available, and they will also take time to explain how those fruits are grown and actually show you the orchards.
So I'm sure the experience is slightly different for each farm that people might go to, but how do people learn where to go, and then what do they experience once they arrive at these various farms?
There are several ways to figure out where the farms are. We print a brochure that goes out to a lot of sources. All of the D&W grocery stores and family fare stores in the area carry the brochure, as well as a lot of other outlets. And it's also online at kentharvesttrails.org. And then once they get to one farm, they can pick up the brochure map that shows them how to get to other farms. And the brochure lists what's available at each farm. So if somebody's looking, for instance, for picking their own apples, it'll show you exactly which farms they can go to pick their own apples. Or if you want to go buy a bushel of apples someplace, you can go figure out where to go for that, or for cider, or for corn mazes. Corn mazes are real big. Several farms have those. Those are all explained online and in the brochure, in the Kent Harvest Trails brochure.
So depending on which type of product you're interested in, perhaps you should go through that guide and figure out what the best timing is and which farm to go to?
Correct. That would be absolutely correct. We have a quick find guide in the Kent Harvest Trails brochure, and it's also online. And so, for instance, along the top, you would look across there, and if you said, I'm looking for a gallon of cider, then you can look down the list, and it'll show you exactly which farms have a gallon of cider. Then on the opposite side of the brochure is a map of all the farms. And then each farm is listed with directions and the hours that they're open and how to contact them and what they offer.
And this idea of locally sourced, where is my food coming from, farm to table is really exploding all over the country, but definitely here in Michigan as well. So are you seeing kind of an increased interest from the public and people wanting to get their food direct from the farm and trying to find out where their food is coming from?
Oh, absolutely. Food co-ops in this part of the state have just exploded, and there's a lot of interest in locally grown foods. And then there's a lot of interest in having fun on family farms, the family-friendly activities. Those are real big. But, here on my own farm, I'm a little bit too far out of the area, and I'm not a fruit farm, but I raise beef cattle. And with the interest in the locally grown foods, I can't even keep enough beef on my farm. I get far more calls than I can even provide. So the fruit farmers are in the same boat. It's a lot of interest in locally grown foods.
So it's not just the fruits and vegetables that people can get a better understanding of how they're grown and such. There are some ranches on the tour as well.
There is one big farm on Kent Harvest Trails, which is called Henderson Farms, that has 3 actual retail stores in the city of Grand Rapids, as well as their farm and the farm store. And they offer beef and chicken and pork, and this is all natural foods that they raise out at their farm out there. And they do a great job. So, no, you can get fruits and vegetables, but you can go to any of the Henderson Farm stores and you can get all of your meat, all natural meat, too, raised without antibiotics and growth hormones and in a very healthy manner.
Well, we're about to run out of time, but we should ask, where your farm is and if you give us just a few more details about what you offer there.
Well, my farm is actually south of Grand Rapids, but I don't participate in the Kent Harvest Trails, which is why they hired me to do this 20 years ago.
I see.
I'm a marketer and a farmer, and so I'm able to help the other farmers do that.
It probably makes more sense. You would have a little more time to help get people around to the other farms during the big events, so I get it. Well, Dave, thank you so much. Dave VanAntwerp, coordinator of the Kent Harvest Trails events coming up to Kent County. Actually, some of those farms are actually open right now and taking visitors to show you where all that food comes from. Most of them do this event through the end of October, but some will continue on beyond that as well. So for more information, all you have to do is go to kentharvesttrails.org, and they'll fill you in for all that. Thank you, David, so much. Well, of course, this time of the year, people are thinking about, fall color touring and farmers markets and such. And we at Travel Michigan are happy to tell you that for the first time, I think, ever, we have put together a fall travel guide. This is a travel guide just for the fall season. Typically we put together the Travel Ideas magazine, which has been printed in the past, about 1 million copies. And, of course, it tries to tell people about all the things you can see and do in Michigan all 4 seasons of the year. Well, this year, we still printed 1 million of those, and now we're actually putting together 100,000 of a fall travel guide. So make sure to pick these up at a welcome center near you. They're available at all the 14 welcome centers across the state. You can always ask your local Convention Visitors Bureau if they have a copy as well. There's a beautiful picture on the front cover of the Copper Harbor area, the Keweenaw Peninsula area. Just spectacular, brilliant colors of fall. Is that right?
I believe it's Saugatuck.
So that's Saugatuck? It looks like Copper Harbor.
It's beautiful.
And I have to check that out because I don't know if I agree.
And that's the thing. The pictures in this are stunning. It
really
is
is
worth looking at just to remind you of how stunning the state is during the fall.
Well, especially since we have 2 places that look very similar. We really do. I mean, it's amazing all you have to see. So check that out today. It wouldn't be the first time I've misidentified the cover of our magazine, to tell you the truth, or some of the other pictures. So check that out. I see that some of the places near where I live are featured, and of course places all around the state are featured in various ways. So check it out today, and you'll like it. We're going to check out a bear ranch next, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at michigan.org.